They envied your comeback. They threw you into the dark, convinced you would disappear there. They whispered your name like it was already a memory. They watched you fall and nodded, satisfied, certain this was the end of your story. But they forgot something. They forgot that darkness is not your enemy. It is your training ground. You didn't scream. You didn't beg. You didn't explain yourself. You listened. You listened as silence wrapped around you like a cold fog. You listened as doubt tried to crawl into your chest. You listened as the world moved on without waiting for you. And in that silence, something dangerous was happening. You were becoming someone they could never control again. They thought breaking you would make them powerful. They thought watching you fall would make them feel taller. They thought stripping you of support, applause, love, and certainty would leave you empty. That was the plan. They expected you to stay down, to carry shame like a permanent shadow, to apologize for existing, to shrink, to soften, to settle. They expected you to survive quietly, or not at all. But what they didn't see, what they never see, is what happens when someone stops fighting the pain and starts learning from it. While they were busy rewriting your ending, you were rewriting yourself. You didn't come back loud at first. You came back breathing, one breath at a time, one scar at a time, one lonely night after another. And that was enough. At first, survival was your only goal. Not success, not revenge, not glory, just survival. You learned how to wake up with a heavy chest and still put your feet on the ground. You learned how to smile when your insides felt like ruins. You learned how to sit with pain without letting it define you. You became fluent in discomfort. You made peace with uncertainty. You stopped running from the fire and started standing in it. Do you remember those nights when the world felt too quiet? When your thoughts were louder than your heartbeat? When every memory tried to pull you backward? That was the forge. That was where the weak version of you burned away. Every disappointment carved you sharper. Every betrayal taught you clarity. Every tear watered the roots of a strength you didn't even know you were growing. You weren't healing the way movies show it. There were no montages, no sudden breakthroughs, just consistency, just discipline, just refusing to let the worst day define the rest of your life. And slowly, so slowly, you began to change. You stopped explaining yourself to people who never tried to understand you. You stopped chasing validation from those who fed on your insecurity. You stopped begging doors to open that were never meant for you. You chose yourself, not in a loud, arrogant way, but in a quiet, unshakable way. You started protecting your energy like it was sacred because it was. You started saying no without guilt. You started saying yes to growth even when it scared you. You outgrew the version of you they were comfortable with, and that's when they noticed. Not when you were struggling, not when you were hurting, not when you were invisible. They noticed when you stopped needing them. At first, it confused them. They expected anger, but you brought silence. They expected bitterness, but you brought focus. They expected you to explain, but you walked away. Did they really think you'd stay broken forever? Did they really think pain was the end of you? They watched you rebuild, brick by brick, without asking for permission. They saw the light return to your eyes, but sharper now, calmer, dangerous. You weren't chasing them anymore. You weren't proving anything. You weren't reacting. And nothing terrifies insecure people more than someone who is no longer reactive. They began to whisper again, but this time the tone was different. It wasn't mockery, it was fear. Because when someone you once underestimated rises without rage, when they glow without asking for approval, when they win without rubbing it in, that's when envy is born. They started watching you more closely, comparing their stagnant lives to your steady rise, replaying moments where they could have supported you, but didn't. You became the mirror they didn't want to look into. Every step you took forward reminded them of the steps they never took. Every boundary you set reminded them of the times they compromised themselves. Every ounce of peace you carried exposed the chaos they were still living in. You didn't need revenge. Your growth was enough. Your calm was louder than their insults. Your consistency was louder than their doubts. Your presence was louder than their past opinions. You walked like someone who had survived hell and refused to bring it with them, and that drove them crazy. But here's the truth they'll never admit. They didn't envy your success. They envied your comeback. They envied the way you stood back up without becoming cruel. They envied the way you rebuilt without burning the world down. They envied the way you turned pain into precision. Because anyone can win when life is easy. Anyone can smile when things go their way. But rising from the ashes with grace, that takes a different kind of power. You became proof that suffering doesn't have to harden you. It can refine you. You became proof that loss doesn't mean weakness. It means depth. You became proof that being underestimated is often a hidden advantage. They saw the crown before you did. They just never thought you'd grow into it. By now, your presence feels different. You don't rush. You don't chase. You don't force. You move with intention, with clarity, with control. Your silence is no longer empty. It's intentional. Your smile is no longer nervous. It's grounded. Your eyes no longer ask. They know. You've mastered something rare. Indifference without bitterness. Confidence without arrogance. Strength without cruelty. And that is the ultimate power, because now, whether they clap or stay silent, you move forward. Whether they praise or criticize, you remain centered. Whether they understand or not, you are at peace. They're stuck replaying the past. You're building the future. They're still talking. You're still becoming. Look at you now, not perfect, not untouched, but real, grounded, unshakable. You carry scars like constellations, proof you survived storms others wouldn't dare face. You walk with the calm of someone who has nothing left to prove. And the irony? They expected your downfall to be permanent. Instead, it became legendary. Your comeback wasn't loud, it wasn't flashy, it was inevitable. Because when someone learns how to stand alone, when someone finds strength in solitude, when someone builds themselves without an audience, nothing can stop them. So let them envy. Let them wonder how you did it. Let them replay old moments with regret. Let them feel the weight of underestimating you. You don't need to explain. You don't need to justify. You don't need to look back. Your peace is the proof. Your growth is the answer. Your presence is the statement. They envied your comeback because it reminded them of everything they never became. And you're just getting started. Breathe that in. This is your moment. This is your power. This is your story. And no one gets to rewrite it but you.